Hey, gang. A special hello to those down under who might be a little confused. That's all right. I've got you. You're in good hands. Yergs is here. It may be late at night for all of you down at Radio X and their listening area across the entire continent of Oceania and Australia and everywhere. Sensibility and common sense are on the way. And that goes for everybody else within the sound of my voice. Let me see something here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And it may not seem that way with some in our country, but I promise you, it is not a majority. I got to keep changing tabs here to check on one or the other. Over the past weekend, I guess it was, because I haven't even been paying attention just for the week. Over the past weekend, lights really suck today. It's really cloudy here in Florida. And I don't know. Oh, you know what? I switched cameras too with yesterday's debacle. As you can see, I've got a camera that works. It's not exactly set up the best. I got to redo that, but I'll do that later. At least you can see me a little bit today. Michael Cohen, like me, is telling us, I told you so. Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox, is apparently not the only American talking head sticking their nose in Australia. Look, I'm trying to educate. I'm not trying to influence you one way or another. You want to love Trump, love him. But stop calling yourself an American. Because you're not. If you have not heard, and I knew it, I just didn't get to it. I really didn't play. I didn't think it was that big of a deal until I saw how many times he's doing it. And more importantly, and more disgustingly, where? Donald Trump, the fat guy, the orange one, the useless one, third worst president in U.S. history. And believe me, he's fighting for the best. He might get there. Has called himself a king. And what is incredibly disgusting is that he did it on the White House Twitter platform, Twitter account. But the worst part of all, we knew, those of us who were smart enough to vote against him, knew stupid stuff like this was coming. But so did you. I'm talking to the right side, as in geographic position, not morally correct. The right side of the political spectrum within my listening audience and viewing, as crappy as the camera is today. I'm talking to you stupid asshats with an ego who aren't smart enough to think for a future, who could have just put up with 4 more years of a good economy and still having your freedoms, like voting, then believing this guy's bullshit again. I've said it 2.5 years ago. And I will continue to say it because it needs to be said. You can be a Republican. You can be a conservative and not be an asshole. And I know there might be some vocabulary words that we might not be liking, those of us on terrestrial radio. But like I said in a call earlier today, my weekly Thursday morning call for podcasters, creators, and makers is hosted by Thomas Wu from Coyote Marketing, based out of Toronto. You will be able to find his podcast, the Coyote. Uh, I'm brain farting on what the Coyote Business Marketing Podcast, something like that. I'll get it, and I'll put a link in today's show notes. Give him an extra plug, a well-deserved. He'll be on Yerg's Radio. Should be there now if I wasn't so busy following this asshat around. But like I said to everybody on that call today, 400,000 words in the English language. And there's just nothing else that says it. He's a disgrace. And I'm not saying that because he's a fat slob. We've had fat presidents before. I'm saying the support he's given to Russia is uncalled for, unwarranted, and equally as disgusting because, Russia is a democracy. At least Zelensky fights for his people, doesn't drown them out. One of the reasons why I want to bring on, probably before we bring on Chicago, I want to bring on shortwave radio. Because I want to get this message to the people in Eastern Europe. We do not approve of this, the majority of us. And fortunately, there are some of you, and I'm still addressing the maggots of the world, who have pulled your head out of your ass and admitted that you were stupid or childish or ignorant. The words like that aren't going to work anymore because they've been dumbed down to it. They've been desensitized to it. What we need to do, left, center, I just want to call the common sense group, anybody who is smart enough to not support Trump. What we need to do is maintain, not create, because there's one already, but we need to maintain and improve on the welcoming, safe space for Trump refugees, for recovered Trumpaholics, for people who have found a cure for rectal cranial inversion and have come to the common sense side. You don't have to be a Democrat. You don't have to be an independent. You don't even have to leave the Republican Party. That's the beauty of it. That's something you should have thought about and realized 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago. Longer than that, really. So Donald Trump fancies himself a king. Megyn Kelly, still being ever the bitch, fancies herself a queen. Rachel Maddow's making sense. I never would have thought that either. And Michael Cohen seems to be the good guy of the day. Go figure. What is happening in this world? Well, I'll tell you one thing that's going to happen. I don't know if I pulled it up yet. Let me look at something here. I thought I had these things up. But anyway, well, hang out to the end for. Oh, I got to correct my neck. Hang out to the end for Pierre's pot and today's recipient. We'll get to that too. And first, morning motivation. Oh, I think I still got that up. Let me see. There it is. Boom. And it obviously, by design, and like, hello, it fits today. Today's morning motivation, and I'm going to get back to doing this more regularly, is Barack Obama. This is from back in, judging by the sign on the podium. This is forward would be 2012, I believe, because Hope was 2008. I'm just describing the picture of him at a podium in his usual campaign garb. Unbuttoned shirt with a tie, sleeves rolled up. That thing politicians do when they want to make it look like they're working hard. I mean, being a real president is not easy. And the jokes he's made about himself at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, among other places, is, obvious of that. But today's quote from him that represents us all, hopefully: when times get tough, we don't give up. And that's key right now. That is so key. When times get tough, we don't give up. We get up. I'm nervous. I'm really concerned about the future of our country. And I know we've all listened to the conservative guys like me say that same thing. During Biden's 4 years, during Obama's 8 years, during Clinton's 8 years, we've heard the libtards say it during Trump 1.0, during 8 years of W, 8 years of Reagan, and 4 years of Daddy Bush between the two. But right now, I am genuinely not just concerned, but scared. Because there are still too many of you that think this picture, let me see if I can find that one too. I thought I had these up. Damn it. Sorry about this. That's not working. Facebook Messenger is, I don't know what the deal, but it does not work well on Windows anymore. I got the one of, and I'll show it in a second. I'm looking for, I thought, like I said, I'm sorry about this. I thought I had it opened and ready, and maybe I did and closed it accidentally. I don't know. Well, there it is. So let me change, replace, window, boom. This is what came out over the weekend. Among other things, the saying or the quote there in the bottom corner of this fake magazine cover kind of a cross between Time Magazine and the New Yorker, maybe. Long live the king. If that does not piss you off, and there's an oil, what looks like an oil painting portrait of Donny Boy smiling, literally wearing a crown. And I'll say that's the skyline of New York City in the background, a place that hates him, by the way. I don't know, maybe an aerial photo of Mar-a-Lago? One of the places you're actually safe? Did you notice that when Donny Boy went to his trial in New York, he did not stay long? And for whatever portion of the trial he did not have to be at because he's a rich boy and his attorneys could be there for him, he left New York. Yeah, I'm a little rough today, Ken. Ken says hello and good morning. We're dealing with this king BS, and I'm not thrilled by this. This is not okay. But for those of you that did vote for this guy, and I saw the Twitter post on, yeah, it was the White House. I think it was his personal, maybe also the one for him as the president, which is not his. It belongs to the office of the president. There's another one for the White House. And all of them, according to some of the other news reports I saw, I didn't look at all of them, but I mean, one is enough. All of them had this post. And as you know, he likes to type in all capitals because that makes his bullshit more true in his mind. And here he is on a cover of what he calls Trump Magazine. Like I said, it's very reminiscent of like the New Yorker or Time Magazine, with this pathetic smile on his face. I want to. Is it like W.C. Fields? What other fat guy does he look like with that smile? Who also did not have a good reputation. But then he's got this crown on his head that kind of looks queenish to me. Doesn't look very masculine. And of course, I will never at all condone this. But if somebody doesn't take another shot at him, it'll be an actual miracle this time. Because this is not okay. And I know because I did this for 21 years, and this is not me suggesting it at all. I absolutely am not and will not at all ever. I'm just being realistic and real with you. That's the kind of things that happens when you do stuff like this in this country. We've never even seen it this bad. I want to say, instead of doing something stupid like that and jeopardizing your own freedom that he's trying to take from you anyway, do this. Right there is the Capitol Switchboard phone number. Flood that number. 202. For those of you on any form, radio or whatever. And Aussies, folks in the UK, anywhere within the sound of my voice, this is a hard line that you can still call. I think it's plus the number 1. But whatever you would do to call the United States, call 202 224 3121. 202 224 3121. 2-1. I'll leave that on the screen until I need that space for something else. I'll put it back up. I'll say it 90 times between now and the next 37 minutes till we're done today, unless I run over. But Jesus, guys, when is the stupidity? I get your, and I'm talking to the maggots still. Not that I'm not talking to everybody else, but this is what I'm looking to get from fan interaction, from a phone call. You can call us too. I put that one on a separate one so we don't have to take down. I got to edit too, because I type so fast sometimes I don't get off the shift button, and I type two capitals side by side. Putting today's title of today's show, in with the phone numbers scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Long live the WTF. Can't say the F word here. I'll behave. Simply Steve 2012 joining us from Twitch. Welcome. Says F Trump, down with the king. Absolutely. This is not okay. And I voted for W twice. I'm conservative too. It's just that this asshat has been giving me a lot to talk about. He also gives us an honest question. Can you blame states for wanting to leave the union now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But this goes back to what I said earlier. And with regards to former President Obama, if that's still up, really? How the hell where did that go? I need a producer for this. I'm not going to lie. But that goes back to what we were talking about with President Obama about, there it is. When times get tough, we don't give up, we get up. And simply, Steve, that's what we need to do right now. Steve says we're not a union anymore. We are a kingdom that voids states' contracts with the union. We're not there yet, and that's the point. And that's where we need to stand up, Steve. And he's a conservative also. He voted for Bush Jr. Technically not Junior, but I know who you're talking about. We need to stand up. We need to get up. And that's why I'll put it back up on the screen. Maybe. There we go. The Capitol switchboard. That's not a joke, guys. Give that number a call. I've called it twice this week. I've tried calling my congressman's office here in rural Florida, rural Tampa. That's a waste. Gus Bilirakis is so far up Trump's ass, it makes Trump look like even more of a cockroach than what he already is. But this is not okay. I did want to kind of make a little bit of lightheartedness. To be fair, if Trump can do so much of what he's been doing illegally and without cause, and with nothing even really behind it, I'm seeing a lot of conservatives stepping up and saying that this is not okay. People who voted for him. But if he can do that and be the king of the United States, Well, then I'm going to be the king of political talk show hosts. Because there I am on Time Magazine. Long live the king of internet radio and shortwave radio. Let's see if my mentor agrees. There he is. Howard Stern and King Yergs, all on one screen for your viewing pleasure. Those of you listening, trust me, both of us are on there right now. Little lighthearted. I got to take a quick break with that. Yeah. When we get back, we'll talk about Megyn Kelly and her pathetic rant on Tom Cruise. Or no, not Tom Hanks. Sorry, Tom Hanks. And probably still get to Michael Cohen and Pierre's Pot by the end of the show. We got 31 minutes left. We'll do it. 99.1 WDJY, WZQR, and ZQR Talks in Pineland, Florida. Radio X. Welcome, you guys. Perth, Australia. Rainbow Radio, Yergs Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back right after this. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum. All right, so you can take that down. I don't have the, I guess, well, if I'm a king, I'll have to talk about myself. Let's do that. Right now, I'm on Cameo for all of $5. You can get a message from me. I can read you, bitch you out, wish you a happy birthday, whatever. But on Cameo, go to cameo.com/Yergs/book. Or if you're watching, scan the QR code on your screen. And I'm delaying so I can get this thing up that I thought was also up. I don't know what the hell, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is happening with the programming today, but I'm still here. Cameo.com. Go to cameo.com/Yergs/book and get your Cameo from Yergs, from King Yergs today. Let's see what's else going. No, stop it. Really? Scott Browning. Hello from Australia. Welcome, Scott. Oh, that is Scott. That's Scott from Radio X. That is the president and general manager of our new affiliate. Right there. Joining from Facebook. Wants to watch instead of... I skipped that. Thanks, Ken. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe. Especially now. This is not just my voice or opinion or anything like that. Because like some of the talking heads who will also say, don't take my word for it. Do your homework. And then you don't because they said, oh, well, if he's going that far and telling me to do my homework, it must be accurate, Fox. But instead, And Scott, you're going to appreciate what we're going to show next. But instead, I give you my show notes that have the links that I'm about to show you right now for one and any others. And where I get the claims or comments that I make as the source of the information. Sometimes that's me. 21 years in the Secret Service, I think I've earned a right to tell you a story or two. But sometimes, any other time, come on, switch it over. There we go. I cannot stand this lady. This is Megyn Kelly, formerly from Fox News. I think, I don't know why she left, if she got fired or it was part of the one of the many sexual scandals that was going on there. If you're into skeletons, great. And she's got a pretty face, but she's a bitch. This is why I'm gay. Psychos like her. And Scott, maybe you can help us out. This is skynews.com.au. If you can tell us who the dude on the left is, he's one of your conservative blowhards. But yeah, Scott Browning again, checking in from Australia, President and GM of Radio X of Perth, Australia, our newest affiliate. Yeah, let's this is the thing about Tom Hanks. I said Tom Cruise earlier, Tom Hanks. And I think they talk about J.D. Vance and King Trump.
Now, we're both of an era when the Oscars used to mean something because it was sort of one of those big showbiz events. And the Saturday Night Live 50-year reunion was sort of the closest thing to an award show. But then rather than just celebrating a TV show that you may have liked or loved or not really cared about for much of the past 50 years, they decided to very overtly do a screw you to half the country. Tom Hanks was involved in a skit where he just mocked MAGA voters. And I couldn't help but think, why?
You know what it reminded me of? I used to do a lot of stories on domestic violence, and I got to know a lot about.
Meanwhile, Tom Hanks has absolutely nothing to do with domestic violence. Do you see why we're not going to make it through the 6 minutes and 27 seconds that are remaining in this clip? Oh. And she's going to stutter through this because clearly when you're for his bullshit, Trump's, you got nothing else to talk about. And so this is what you get on, and I see the name now, Paul Murray Live.
How it works. And it reminded me of an abuser who goes back to a woman and puts on the mask. I'm charming. I'm totally loving. I will never hurt you. You can trust me. I get you. We're together. We're a partnership. But then as soon as the woman does something, could be anything to set him off, the veil comes down and you realize this has been someone pretending. This whole thing that's been wooing me in has been an act. And oh my God, I was almost fooled. Thank God I saw the moment of reality. That's what that thing was to me, because Saturday Night Live hates conservatives. NBC hates conservatives.
No, that's not true. Nobody there hates anybody. And this is the thing that I'm so sick of hearing is these blowhards on the right constantly using the word hate. Projection much? Because that's what that is. None of us here that are independent free thinkers hates, not even you, Megyn. And believe me, I've said some prayers. Not even you. You're a bitch, but I don't hate you. Nobody here hates anybody. It's you maggots that continue to use that word against anyone who's not a maggot.
They've been doing programming that is anti-conservative, anti-Trump, pro-leftist causes in the open now.
Have you seen what Trump and company do? Do you wonder why? Ken, you told me who she was yesterday. Tina Fey. Comedic actress Tina Fey was almost a twin sister to Sarah Palin. That's how good she was. I don't know if I told the story on the air or if it was just a Ken when we might have been talking. I get to know some of my super fans, and I think that's awesome. I saw a movie poster for the movie that Tina Fey played Sarah Palin, and Woody Harrelson was in it, and I forget who else, but it was about the 2008 election. And she was on the poster. She was pretty much, I guess, the lead. I never saw the movie. I thought it was Sarah Palin. I thought this was like a documentary until I realized, well, that's the chick from Saturday Night Live. I was like, wow. Saturday Night Live takes a very unfiltered look at life. When their opening skit is a recreation of the 2008 Democratic primary. I was there for this that night when they did this skit, because that's when Hillary Clinton did her first appearance. And they throw softball questions at whoever the actor was playing Barack Obama. And he flubs it. And everybody claps. And they give a tough question to then my tour guide of NBC Studios, Amy Poehler, dressed as Hillary Clinton. That's a story I'll never forget. But they give a tough question to Amy Poehler as Hillary Clinton, and she nails it, only to be followed up with a tougher follow-up question when she finally on camera bitches about it. And Vincent D'Onofrio from Law and Order Criminal Intent fame, a tough, smack you around type of detective, comes out and gets in Amy Poehler's face, turning the debate into an interrogation. That was their commentary on the real debates with Hillary Clinton versus Barack Obama. But no, the mainstream media isn't trying to influence anything. That is why Saturday Night Live does the hard bits on Trump, because he deserves it. All right, I'll stop rambling now. Let's get on with this bitch.
For 12 years and beyond. I mean, I haven't really watched it with a political eye longer than that. And that on Sunday night, they tried to reel us in.
It's called freedom of speech. For those of you wondering why any comedic show would do that, it's called freedom of speech. It's legal.
By just doing regular comedy that could appeal to anybody. Like, see, we're so fun. We've got all these big stars. So we're towing the line and we're going to make everybody love us and you can trust us. We're not going to be too political.
Towing a line. Do you see now the hypocrisy of these idiots? I didn't even notice that one when I saw this before. But towing the line, that's what she wants Saturday Night Live to do, is to toe the line. Toe the Trump line. Feed the American people and the world, really, Because obviously this, whatever his name was, dude, was watching it too, or denies it. Maybe he's watching it as homework for a show.
Political. We're going to be the kind of product that everyone can consume. And then the veil slipped. And it slipped because that's who they really are.
There was never any veil. You said it yourself. They've been doing this all along. If you think there is a veil up, it's you doing the same thing you do to Trump, and that's being the ostrich by sticking your head in the sand and remaining an ignorant, stupid bitch. Sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat anymore. I've got 2 brothers I haven't talked to in I don't know how long. I was home for Christmas this year. They didn't say boo to me because they're Trump supporters. Hopefully, it's because they're too embarrassed to. But this thing, somebody dressed a fungo bat. It's a baseball joke, in case you have no idea. Google it. You'll laugh.
And no one there thought there'd be a problem with that skit with Tom Hanks. No one.
It's because there wasn't.
Oh God, is this beyond? Like, should we not? Because it's all the same left-wing echo chamber.
That's why it's called Saturday Night
take
Live.
One of the most beloved,
not preschool,
most popular American actors ever.
And now she's trying to leave him a way out. I promise you, Tom Hanks, I almost said Tom Cruise again. Tom Hanks does not need your help. Tom Hanks is laughing at you right now, along with plenty of conservatives, probably. I don't know if you heard of Bell, but the one clock that I use now actually has that tone that goes off to remind me to take a damn commercial break. But we eliminated some affiliates recently. Speaking of which, if any of you have any, there it is again. Game Change was the film I was talking about. Thanks, Ken. If any of you have anybody that you would recommend or any business that you would recommend for ad spots, we're selling ad spots right now starting at $1,500 a month, US dollars, for, I think it's going to be at least 30 spots on the show, plus the shorts that we're going to create. There's going to be a banner at the top or bottom with the brand's logo, and then other social media, newsletters, things like that. So this is dumbfounding how stupid she's being. And I think that's why I'm going to cut it short soon.
Tom Hanks, and put him in a Trump MAGA hat and put him down at the end on what they called Black Jeopardy, which is kind of like a joke that Black people don't watch normal Jeopardy. And
it's because they don't. That's why. That's the joke, you moron. I forget what his name was. The name they created for the Alex Trebek, the host of the Black Jeopardy, Darnell Williams, says this is the only show on TV where the whole audience shows up in their church clothes. That's a black joke. When Black people go out, they dress really nice. And having arrested some of them, I know it's because that's not what their house looks like. One guy said to me earlier in my career, I arrested this guy in the hood in Philadelphia in a Cadillac, nice garbs. I said, man, you dress like this and you live here? He said, man, my people don't see me in my crib. They're playing a game. And that's the joke that, I'm forgetting the actor's name, but Darnell Williams made as part of this bit. That's why it's funny, because it's true. Oh, this is painful.
So it's kind of like white Jeopardy. And he comes on Black Jeopardy.
There's no
the black
white
host
Jeopardy.
comes over to shake his hand, and he recoils at the thought of touching a black man.
Because he thought he was going to
and
get
doesn't
mugged.
want to
That's
shake
the
the
joke,
hand,
you
and
moron.
only does it when he's forced to by the very gracious black host.
Well, thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I
This
say
is
something?
awesome.
If more
He's
folks
so
went
good.
to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No,
Oh, no.
Like that.
Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome at Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you.
The veil was down, and we saw what they really think of all of us, not just MAGA, but anybody on the.
Meanwhile, that's exactly how you are. I have a black man that lives in my neighborhood here. Very nice house. One of the nicer sections of my neighborhood. You know what he does? He works for everybody in the neighborhood with a nicer house than him. Because that's who they hire. The help. The guy was an Army Ranger and can kick all of their asses with his left hand, and he's right-handed. But they go to him because I guess he would know how to do it because he's the help. And he's laughing to the bank because he overcharges them for the maintenance that he does. But that's why Saturday Night Live does that. Because it's kind of a news item. That's life right there. That's how people on your side treat the black community. Oh, I wish Travis was watching today. He had his 500th show on Tuesday. The Point with Travis Evans. Check it out on Facebook every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
The right, they think you're a racist. They think you're all the ists.
Yes.
For all sorts of psychological reasons that we've gone into and don't need to here. But there was that.
It's called the truth. That's the psychological reason.
How deeply offensive it was for Tom Hanks in particular to participate in this skit. Tom Hanks, who started off on this stupid show called Bosom Buddies, which maybe it was ahead of its time because it was about.
It was. She's going to go saying about how it was ahead of its time because it was two guys who lived together who dressed in drag so that they could get the housing that they were in. It was an all-woman place. And I think they even had jobs. It's kind of like the movie Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman, where he dressed as a woman because he had a job only held by a woman, then a secretary. And yeah, you just listen to her pause. It just screams of I've got nothing else to talk about. And that's why I'm going to wrap this up because I got plenty to talk about.
Two men who dressed as women in order to get the living arrangements they wanted. So it was guys dressed, in sort of in drag. And he was hilarious and he was a nobody. And it was a stupid show that made us fall in love with him because he was so funny and bumbling. And then
it's called having a talent, something you wouldn't know anything about.
Like Sleepless in Seattle, where he was a romantic lead, and Big, where he was a kid in an adult's body, and Philadelphia, where he was a big-time lawyer suffering from HIV/AIDS. Like all these amazing Forrest Gump, which was
how she struggled through that one. God forbid she have to talk about AIDS in the gay community. She forgot to mention that he was a big-time gay lawyer who had HIV and AIDS and was trying to fight for health care, something he was supposed to have had. I mean, let's get the real plot out here, Megyn. You don't want to talk about that, do you?
Around the world, and everyone said the same thing. I love Tom Hanks.
And they still say it.
And in thanks to a nation, of audiences that included those guys who look like that, with the t-shirt, without the sleeves, that are maybe a little rough around the edges, who aren't as coiffed as he is with the perfect 3/4 zip, sweater, with their MAGA hat on. And yeah, Tom Hanks, their Southern rural accent, you absolute effing snob.
That's what they look like. I get out of your studio once in a while, Megyn. maybe before you go touting the line of Make America Great Again, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, spitballing as we're calling it this week. Travel America? Just thinking out loud, trying to help.
Bob went to your movies and made you a billionaire.
He's not a billionaire, but he's very wealthy because he's very successful because he's funny as shit. That's why. Megyn, this isn't that hard. I thought it was going to talk about there's drunk. Yeah. So now apparently this is news to me, but apparently Kamala Harris was drunk, or at least according to our queen here, because she's an expert. Let's skip a little bit ahead and try to get to that. All right, maybe Sleepy Eye there is going to lead us into it. Let's see what Paul has to say.
You.
Now, did you see the stuff of Kamala Harris? She's wandering around a stage, I think a Broadway play. Let's be honest. I was respectful when she was the vice president-ish, but now she's just a free agent. She was pissed. She was drunk because I know she's, not the brightest bulb.
Yeah, because you sound like you've got a good college education with your fake gold rings. Look, I've taken people like Kamala Harris to Broadway, Hillary being one of them. They are these things. Something, Paul, you are not. Megyn, They're called celebrities. And sometimes people in the arts like to hear the critiques from people who actually appreciate the arts. They don't take over a place like the Kennedy Center because they can, Donald.
But she was off it when she's talking to people.
And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
So I don't know, Paul, maybe that's not making sense to you. But I'm listening to that for 10 seconds. I can tell you who she's talking about. You want to guess, Paulie? She's talking the truth about your boy. I don't mean the 4-year-old, the other boy.
That's the word. Right. And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Now, the other thing I can tell you right off the bat, too, I will bet seeing 2 of what I will presume are cast members, that the majority of this cast is black. And I've seen it. This is my critique on the left side, because they don't have anybody like this on the right, at least not anymore, because the campaign's over. All the black people that were pushing for Donald Trump ain't anywhere anymore because he doesn't need them. Tim, what's his nuts from, I think it was South Carolina? He ain't talking to you recently, is he? Timmy boy. They put on this slightly more black accent. Obama did it. He has what I call his fake Baptist preacher voice. Oprah Winfrey does it. Anytime they're within the community, the black community. I've heard it. I'm standing there. I've seen 2 different accents in the same day. For the same speech, by the way. So that's what you're seeing. She's with her people. She's bonding. And maybe I wouldn't know how to do it because I don't have enough exposure to it. My son grew up in many different black communities. And I hear it in him sometimes, a little bit more of what I'll call an urban tone. And if we have some sort of disagreement, he tries to bring that tone to me. And I help him lose that bass out of his voice. But anyway, that's what's happening here.
All right, let's go, Paul Murray. Let's do this thing.
Oh, let's do it, Megyn.
Disagree. That's her. That's her personality. She always sounds drunk. She's an idiot.
Well, I was agreeing with it. This is the first time I've heard this part. I haven't finished this video yet. And now it looks like we're going to all of 25 seconds. Although we did skip some. But anyway, I was almost agreeing with it because she's very laid back. That's her attitude. That's her. That's her shtick. That's her. But she doesn't sound drunk. She sounds drunk to somebody who has no life and has never been drunk. But to those of us who will probably be drunk in a few hours, that's not drunk. I know drunk. That ain't it. But that's going to get me sponsors.
That's the way she talks. She says absolutely nothing. She tries to make it sound really profound. She's got a weird way of talking. She sounds drunk a lot. She's just reality and duality. And
for once, Megyn Kelly's actually making sense. I got to be honest. Megyn, you should keep that shtick yourself. All right. It is almost noon. We're going to lose 99.1 WDJY. And I think ZQR stays with us. And actually, you know what? Let me see. Scott, if you're still in the chat, let me know how far we're programmed. I think we're only programmed for this 1 hour right now. But we might be set up for 2. I don't remember. But you're only doing the live feed anyway. So there'll still be something on Yerg's radio. I think. I just heard, oh, that all disconnected. That's bad. Hold on. Got to do something here. Hey, gang, if you're listening on Yerg's radio and Rainbow Radio, sorry for that little slip. We just lost 99.1 because we only have them for an hour today. And I disconnected everything. Yeah. But we've been talking about Megyn Kelly, or her, and who's been talking about Tom Hanks and now Kamala Harris. And I think that's really all we're going to do with that. Oh, wow. But, oh, look at this. Ken chiming in on this one, too. Okay, well, first of all, let's back up. Oh, wow. Got a lot to catch up on here. Thanks for all this, Ken. Kenan Thompson. Yes. Oh, love that dude. He is just, and yeah, he plays the various black parts on Saturday Night Live, but he can do multiple roles as a comedic actor, and that's the real talent. That's why Vince Vaughn isn't really doing anything anymore, because he's the same character in every movie. Kenan Thompson, I think, has a very good comedic career ahead of him, not just on Saturday Night Live. But he's the one who plays the host of Black Jeopardy. Yeah, does a great job. Ken also says this isn't the first time Tom Hanks has played this character. That's correct. He does an amazing job in that role. Really, really funny. And it's good funny. Yes, it's race related. But when you have the strength to poke fun at yourself and each other, that's what makes it funny. It's not harmful. It's not hateful. Nobody's using the word hate, Megyn. Oh, I think I do need a drink. Yeah, Tom Hanks is awesome. I agree. Megyn needs to have a plethora of seats. That's good. That's good. It's called code switching, and it's been around since slavery. Interesting. Thank you, Ken. Very cool. I will. Well, let me see. I want to put that in the show notes somehow. maybe when I put it with, I'll just write it here. And I'll get like a Wikipedia entry or some other. But that's good. Cool. Good to know that. Thank you for that. All right. So now we're running over, but anybody still with us, you're still welcome. We'll get to some of the other talking points here, and then I got to go grocery shopping. WZQR, Pineland, Florida, down there near Naples, Radio X, Perth, Australia, Rainbow Radio, Yerg's Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. Let me do this, and then we'll be right back.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym, Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training, a dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum.
All right. I do want to touch on this because I think it's really important with regard to the point I'm trying to get across, the dangerous level that we're at. You remember Michael Cohen? Why does it always go to that side? There we are. You remember Michael Cohen? He was an attorney for Donald Trump, was the one who helped arrange the Stormy Daniels situation where she was paid hush money to not tell anybody that Donnie Boy was hooking up with her, leading into his run for office. This was all back before 2015 when he announced. And I want to say that the arrangement was made in like 2015 when this was all coming to fruition. But whatever. Michael Cohen, the attorney who went to jail for, I think, either lying to the court or lying to Congress. This doesn't make sense either, though. This is an article that's 23 hours old, so it's a day old. And he appeared on Jim Acosta's Substack show. Oh, okay, I see what they're saying here. Jim Acosta left CNN, but they're just saying that's his claim to fame, is that he spent most of his career on CNN. I think is what they're going with that. Michael Cohen appeared on CNN's Jim Acosta's Substack show, which is apparently what Jim Acosta is doing now, on Monday about President Donald Trump's executive orders and comments, and said he already owns the libs. Okay. The ex-Trump lawyer said Democrats need to stop attacking the president as it's not a joke, and comes after some people believes his orders are troubling, including his controversial federal cuts. During the chat on the Jim Acosta show, the host remarked that while he considered these comments troubling, Cohen said making comments about the president isn't the way to beat him, and claimed that trying to denigrate somebody like Trump doesn't work and gives him a pass for all the crazy things he's done. Okay. Cohen continued, "This is not a joke, and nobody should take it as some sort of let's own the libs. He already owns the libs." And added, "Let's be clear about something. While Democrats and libs and whoever else that they want to say are out there, and they're trying to, on a regular basis, denigrate Trump, you know, they make all these statements about him. Okay, well, what are we going to do to fix this? Let me be very clear. Yes, please, be very clear. Finally." That's not the way to be Donald Trump. Not in the slightest. What basically you're doing there, and the whole art of trying to denigrate somebody like Trump, it doesn't work. He is given a pass because of all the crazy, chaotic things that he does. Okay, well, what's the secret sauce here? Sometime today. The lawyer then said 93% of Republicans and 54% of Americans in general currently approve of Trump, but didn't reference any specific data or polls for this claim. We had a 48% approval rating earlier this week and a 70% yesterday. We talked about a 70%. It was not an approval rating, to be clear, but 70% of Americans believe he's sticking with his campaign promises. That doesn't mean they approve. That's just that he's sticking with his campaign promises. Meanwhile, gas is still more than $3 a gallon, and eggs are $15 a dozen. We forgot about that one. So the lawyer said 93% of Republicans and 54% of Americans in general currently approve of Trump, but didn't reference any specific data or polls for this claim. However, a national survey by the Pew Research Center last week showed Trump enjoying a 47% approval rating. We had 48, but splitting hairs. The highest he has held for either of his presidential terms ever. Meanwhile, that was like the worst Biden had. It wasn't, but still. Later on, Acosta asked Cohen to expand upon the idea that you can't get so upset about this that you're foaming at the mouth and engaging in ad hominem attacks. The heated discussion continued, and Cohen responded, "There is a way within which to get the misinformation, disinformation, malinformation out of the, we'll call it, news ecosphere, right? And that's like with shows like yours, or with Substack, shows like yours or mine, or like, with other various different podcasts and so on. You have to listen to facts, but they don't work either. I've been giving facts. So many other podcasters and radio hosts and whatever like me have been giving facts. I just heard again today on that 8 a.m. call I told you about earlier in the show, David Beckmeyer said, facts don't work. So that's a fact that facts don't work. See the oxymoron there as well? But then Acosta interrupted and said, people have the right to be pissed. I'm just going to say right now, by the way, an absolute right to be pissed. I do not say in any way, shape, or form that you don't have the right to be pissed. Absolutely have a right. And Cohen agreed and claimed there's only one problem. The plurality of Americans elected Donald Trump in 2024, all right? No. Less than 30% elected Donald Trump. In fact, of the entire population of Americans, it wasn't even 25%. The problem isn't Donald Trump. The problem is getting eligible people to actually vote in the first place. So you can do anything you want with stats. He's saying that there's a plurality, meaning, some level of a majority. It's just that of the dumbass hats that voted, even less than a third of the eligible voters, so not using the entire American population, but of registered voters, less than a third voted for Trump. A little bit less than that voted for Kamala Harris. The largest third, and we're not talking about equal parts here, the largest piece of that pie, either voted for a third-party candidate or didn't vote at all. Now, if that third-party candidate base would have had their head out of their asses, and I'll show you the actual graphic I have. I've been using it on Facebook for like 2 weeks. If they would have voted for Kamala Harris, realizing that, hey, it's not who I want, but it's better than the other one, instead of this bullshit protest vote that we see every time, we would not be in this mess. It would have been enough to carry her in at least the popular vote, and at least he wouldn't be saying that right now, but also possibly the Electoral College, which I'm not for getting rid of, by the way. Our job is to flood the news sphere, the news ecosphere, with facts, hard facts. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, but that alone does not work. And that's it. All right, it is 12:15. I'm going to stop there for today. I'm going to go take a Valium or something. Let's see if we got anything left in the commentaries. Nope, that is it. Let's go down through. I'll tell you where everybody's at. If you're in the rural Tampa area, Pasco County, join us at the Sea Ranch Civic Association. Let's get rid of that because we don't need that anymore. There we go. Oh, put that up. Yeah. Remind everybody when and where. And now I got to add to that. Look at this. Look at this. 4 p.m. London. $8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. London, and 12 midnight Perth. Up the middle. And that 12 midnight would actually be Tuesday through Saturday at midnight. But go to my SRCA. My SRCA stands for Sea Ranch Civic Association. MySRCA.com. Sign up today, become a member. Good times. Capital Switchboard, again, is 202-224-3121. I'll put that in the show notes. You'll get an email address at the end here because they're not actually on my current website anymore. That's coming back as soon as I can get that rearranged. DNR Studios, we're going to be adding them as part of our affiliates by the end of this month, beginning of next. Go to dnrstudios.com. If you want additional programming, we will be their only political show that is a subscription service. So you will need that. Check out what else they've got, but you will still be able to get us everywhere else for free. Jane Stahl, my Monday co-host, is available by going to studiobbb3bs.org. She is the curator of the art gallery in our hometown, and that's the art gallery's website. She's also the co-editor of Boyertown Area Expression. That's our town's digital newspaper. Go to boyertownareaexpression.town.news for more information about both of us and our community. My Wednesday co-host from Translating Trump is Philip Blackett. You can get him on his socials at Philip with one L, Blackett with two T's, the color ETT, at Philip Blackett on any where you want to be. Matt Deemer is one of my two Friday co-hosts. He's the host of the Daily Crypto News. It's a Monday through Friday news, about a 5 to 10 minute news segment on cryptocurrencies. You can reach or learn more about that at dailycryptonews.net and reach him, Matt, at dailycryptonews.net or info at Deemer, DIEMER, for Congress.com. Blake Fisher is my other co-host. He represents the right. He is the Homeless Conservative. That's his podcast with 1, maybe 2 episodes per week. You can find out more by going to thehomelessconservative.com and emailing him, Blake, at thehomelessconservative.com. You can get us all, here's that email, news, NEWZ, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. For more information and show notes, go to yergz.com or mastiff.media. That is an actual website, what is it called, subdomain or whatever, ending.media.org.com.net. Mastiff.media, that's our parent company. And that's where you can find other locations where you can watch or listen to Up the Middle. I think there's something here yet. Yes, absolutely. Ken says, have an awesome day. I certainly hope that you all do as well. I will be back tomorrow with Up the Middle Friday Fights, where I'll be joined by Matt and Blake. I think we'll probably be talking about this King bullshit some more. And God knows what else gets stirred up between now and then. Thanks for getting off the porch and running with the big dogs. Thanks for going with me up the middle. This is Politics for the Rest of Us, and I'm a voice that sounds like yours. Thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow.